Hello, let me find the video. Hold on just a second. It's a little bright in here, but I want you guys to be able to see the table when we get started, so I'm sorry for the shine. Hopefully I can find the class quickly. Making sure I'm doing it right. There we are, I see me. Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I get in here. I'm gonna mute myself so I don't see anything. Hi, Victoria. Hello, friends. How are you? I am so excited to be here to teach you this class. We're going to give it just a couple minutes and let people kind of come in. Hopefully some people got notified and all that jazz. Hello, Pamela. Hello, Elizabeth and Parker and Cindy and Barbara. Hello, hello. I am so excited to be doing this for you guys. I know that there has been a lot of interest in knowing how to do these, and let me just tell you from personal experience that it is not easy to find, figure out, or anything like that on the internet. I have spent myself hundreds of hours, I'm sure, like hours and hours and hours, I mean weeks, I mean just so much time researching and learning how to do these, from the most simple and whimsical, just really simple parts, to a lot more advanced and detailed techniques. And like I said, it's just not easy to find. So I'm really excited to be able to teach you this. And hopefully I do a really good job for you guys, and I teach you in a way that makes it really clear, and you are successful. So, hello, so many of you popping on. It's so great to see. I was worried that if I was doing it in the middle of the day that I would not have very many people be able to pop on. So, this is super exciting. Okay, let me tell you about a couple of things really quick, and then we're gonna jump right into making the face. Okay, so number one, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Tenderfoot Village, and I have been making gnomes and crafting. You guys, I was making little baby trolls back in 2000 and I think 8 or 9, right after or right before my son was born. I bought a polymer clay book on whimsical clay dolls. I can't even remember. I still have it downstairs. And I was selling those things on eBay, and the babies. I was making like little troll polymer clay babies. And let me tell you something. That was a hot mess because polymer clay can be really fragile, and I would do these little tiny ears, and then I'm really clumsy, and so I would drop them and I would chip the ear and I'd have to go do it again. So I love soft sculpture because I don't have to worry about breaking the finished product. So anyway. So I'm Sarah, and I'm super excited. I've been teaching on the interspace. I don't know the interwebs. I've been teaching probably since 2017 or 2018. I've been teaching in person long before that. I never thought of myself as a teacher. I never grew up wanting to be a teacher per se, but I love teaching, and it just kind of happened. And so I'm really excited to be able to teach you. Let me read a couple of these comments really quick. Oh, thank you, Miss Lily. Lily says I look beautiful. Parker, y'all are so sweet. Y'all, my Makers Club members are giving me all these compliments because they don't normally see me with makeup on. I'm usually just hair pulled back, ready to get down into it. So if I'm all makeup up, they're like, whoa, who are you? So Pamela says, I think you're a great teacher. I made your gnome tree and it came out great. Thank you so much. Victoria said, depending on how long it runs, I might have to catch the replay later since my sons have class. Victoria, just to let you know, it probably will run just a little bit longer. Not too long, guys. I don't want you to worry, but I really want to focus on making sure everybody's seeing it really clear. There's also going to be a pre-recorded version of this, so I will actually end up recording myself doing these steps. And that will be included in the class as well on the website. So you can either watch the live to get all the extra pieces of information, tips and tricks, or you can have that pre-recorded video so that you can go through and just see really clearly and I talk through those steps. Because I know there's some that like one or the other in both ways. So. Hello, Tammy. Tammy says, I'm watching and hoping the rest of my supplies get here today. I hope so too, because I know you guys are going to love making these. Hello from Jacksonville, Florida, says Regley. I hope that said that right. Hello. And Debbie is asking, how do we watch the replay? So Debbie, you can watch the replay two ways. The first way is you can actually just come back in here to the beginner Facebook group. You have to be in the beginner class Facebook group to see the video. So you'll come back in here and that video will be in the guides tab on the side, and you can go and click on that and watch anytime you want. And then as well as you can go to the website and log in, and then your class or classes, if you purchase more than one, they will all be underneath your dashboard. The one thing I'll say is you have to make sure that you're logged in order to see your classes. If you're not logged in, when you click on a class, it's going to act like it wants you to purchase the class. So that's just the biggest thing I can say to make sure that you've done. So, oh, Regley said I said it right. Yay. All right. Let me tell you a couple things really quick and then let's get going. So I created a couple of coupons for you guys that have done this class. So I have a coupon off if you want to get any of the other classes, and there are more classes that are going to be added very quickly. So we have a couple of doll classes and stuff like that. They'll be added to the website as well. But if you want to purchase those individual classes because you were in this class, you can use, and I'll put this code also, once this video is over, I'll edit it in the description and add those codes. But you can use the code UR, so the letter U, the letter R, and the word amazing. So all capital letters, no spaces, UR amazing, for 15% off any of the classes over there on the website. And then also, if you are thinking about being in the Makers Club and you haven't quite decided for sure yet, and then you go through this class and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to get in the Makers Club, I want to do more or whatever, you can use the code CLASS, all capital letters, the number 20, so CLASS 20, no spaces, and you'll get $5 off the first 2 months for being in this class. And there are only a limited amount of these coupons, so and they're only good through the end of the month. So they'll expire in April 1st. And then the also that 15% off is not just good for classes. I'm going to have some kits available because people have been asking and worried and stressed, and I don't want you guys stressed. Because I want you to feel like you can get these things and be successful. So I'm going to put together a basic needle sculpting kit. I'm actually working on it right now. There's one piece that I'm really having a hard time getting, and it should be here in a couple days. But a basic needle sculpting kit that will come with all the tools to do a basic sculpt of the face, and that'll include the brushes for blushing and stuff like that, a makeup palette, just a basic natural neutral makeup palette, needles, and some of that material, so you guys can actually get that material in your hands and see what it looks like and feels like. Yes, capital letters for both, Miss Suzanne, on those coupons. And then I'm also going to have a deluxe kit that will have a couple of extra things in there for you guys, some eyes that are done, and a couple other things for y'all. So those will be available this weekend. Also, make sure that you come back in here on Thursday because there's going to be a bonus class on doing a body. So I'm not going to just leave you with a head that you're like, what do I do with this head now that I've made it? There's going to be a bonus class that will be on making a simple body adorable to go with your head. So you'll actually end up finishing this class with a completed gnome, because that's important to me. I like you guys to have a finished thing. And then on Friday, in here, on Friday, I'm doing a giveaway, and I'm not telling you yet what I'm giving away, so make sure that you're in here on Friday, and you can participate in the giveaway. Also, I'm doing a club giveaway on Thursday in the membership group. We do it every month. We used to do it every single month, but when I moved, I missed a couple of months, and I hate that. But now we are back up and running, and I'm giving away 2 needle sculpting kits in there, 1 basic and 1 deluxe kit in there on Thursday. So anyway, okay, that's enough about all that. Robin says, I think anyone who is on the Makers Club fence about the Makers Club, I was too, but I will tell them learning from you is amazing. Thank you so much. You guys, you're so sweet. I really appreciate it. I just really want you guys to be successful. I want you to have something you can be proud of. I want you to have something you can give as a gift or sell or just cherish for yourself. That's my real goal here, you guys. So, okay. All right, I'm ready to get started. I hope you guys are ready to get started too. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera view because this right here is not going to work for you guys to be able to see the details. So let me go ahead and change my view to overhead. And I have a little bit of a new setup. It's kind of a blue color, so I'm hoping the grid is not going to be too busy for you guys. It looks like it's going to do okay. This is my first time actually using that for this, and I can actually zoom in for you. Chris says, let me get this over here. You won't see this in just a second because I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but I need to be able to see. Chris says, I looked for the material but was confused on what to get. I looked on Amazon, but there are so many different kinds. It was confusing. Can you give a link to the materials? Hi, Chris. So really quick, let me just tell you, there is a link to materials in the supply list, which you can find in the guides tab. So if you're in the group, go up to the top and you'll see one of the little tabs at the top says guides. Click on that and you'll scroll down and look for the supplies. Not only is there a supplies list with links at the bottom that you can click on to go directly to the supplies, but you can also watch a supplies video where I don't know if that's in the guides yet. I may need to still add that. But there is a supplies video in here that will go over all of the supplies and some things for some best practices, things to be successful. Okay, really quick, I want to talk to you. I want you guys to see the difference in the material. We are going to talk about this just real basically, real quick. So I love making these faces with different types of material. I love experimenting. It is something that is fun for me. It's a challenge, and I love to just run with that challenge. So really quick, I want to talk to you. So this right here, this guy, I also want to encourage you to make different sizes. That's why I'm showing you him. So this is a jersey knit material. You can see it kind of has, it's more of a matte, where I feel like with pantyhose and nylon, it's a little slicker feeling. It kind of has a shine to it almost in a way. And so this jersey knit, I get mine at Joann's, and you can just ask them. It's like t-shirt material. So if you get someone at your fabric store and you're like, I need jersey knit, and they don't know what you're talking about, which is unlikely, but sometimes it happens. You can say, I'm looking for that t-shirt stretchy material. That's jersey knit. And they carry light colors, tan colors, and you just want to get a light color that works. I also have been lucky in finding it at Walmart occasionally, so check there too. And I have to check often because sometimes they have it and sometimes they don't. Okay, this right here, this type of material is a trouser sock, and I have a brand new pack right here so I can show you. These work well. I like these because they're more like a tights type of material, so they're less see-through. You can see right here. So I really like these. So that is what this will end up looking like. It'll have kind of a tan skin to this. Hello, hello. Marlene says, been waiting forever, then lost track of time. LOL. It happens, girl. It happens. Okay, so this is a trouser sock. These are great. I get these at Walmart really cheaply. And then if you want a little bit more explanation on all that, you want to check out that supplies video. This is regular pantyhose. And there's a trick to this, you guys. So with the regular pantyhose, let me pull this out. It depends on the thinness. Some of them, in my opinion, for this style of making, this particular one, they can be a little on the thin side. This is like a $5 pack from Walmart. And so if I feel like it's a little too thin, and I really just base it on the individual pantyhose, but if I feel like it's just gonna be too thin, and that kind of scares me, then I'll go and I'll still use the material, but I'll use the control top of the pantyhose instead, because you can see that it's actually thicker and it's more tight-like. So there's you a little hint right there, a little secret. So don't just discard them if you've got the pantyhose and you feel like it's too thin. Just go for that control top. And that's actually what I'm going to be using today. And I'm going to show you, I went ahead and cut my piece out, but I want to show you, this is just a pair of control top pantyhose that I use the biggest size I can find, and I just cut it. So normally it's like folded like this. This is the seam that goes in the middle, and I already cut the legs off, but this is the seam that goes right up the middle, and then the little crotch part down here, which I try not to cut too much of that out. And so yes, Lycra, thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that. So I love Lycra as well, and I did want to show you that because it's important. So this is Lycra, and I have it somewhere. I bet I don't know where it went. This is a Lycra material, so this is going to be kind of like swimsuit material, and you can ask for that at your local Joann's as well, or another fabric store, but you can see it's stretchy both ways, more stretch on one direction than the other. And this is one of my favorite colors and materials. Let me grab so these little faces right here are done with that Lycra, okay? And then this little guy's face is done with the control top pantyhose. And oh, I think this one is done with the pantyhose as well. And then Ernest, which we did in our membership club, is done in the tan trouser sock material. Okay? So I just want you guys to be brave and know that you've got options. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Because like I said, there's plenty of information in the supply video, but this is what I'm going to be using, and I just cut out a 6x6 piece of material, and I'm going to measure it for you so you can see. Let me grab this material. This is it right here. Oh, this is that Lycra right here, and I love using that. I was actually thinking about using that. So it's roughly, okay, this is 6.5 by 6. So it's supposed to be about 6 by 6. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to make a smaller head. This guy's head right here is 8 by 8. So the key is getting a square. It doesn't matter if you do 5.5 by 5.5 or 12 by 12. That's going to be a really big gnome. But it really doesn't matter as long as you're starting with a square. So I'm going to take my square and I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. And this is something that I personally do. This is not like everybody does this across the board, but for me, I like to do this because I don't like the square shape when I'm trying to sew up that circle. It's just more work and more frustrating. So I'm going to take this, and I want the folded sides, one against my hand and one away from me. I don't want to cut the folded sides. I want only the cut edges to be out so I can use that and cut around. And I'm just going to cut kind of a curved shape. So I'm going to start straight, and then I'm going to kind of turn it. I'm going to kind of start to turn it just to kind of round it off. And it's still going to be like a rounded square kind of. And this will achieve that face shape. Okay, so it's really kind of a square, or a little bit of a rectangle more than anything. So it's still about 6.5 and just under 6 on this side. This does not need to be perfect, so don't get hung up on that. I'm gonna grab my long doll needle. So I like 5 to 6 inches for starting this part first. And then I'm going to grab some heavy duty thread. This is really important. You do not want all-purpose or weak thread because you're going to be pulling and kind of rough with it. And you don't want it to break because it's going to cause more frustration. So the goal is to keep you guys from being frustrated as much as possible. So I'm just going to thread this real quick. All right, and I've got a really long piece starting off, which is what I prefer. And then I'm just going to tie a knot on one string. I like to go around my finger twice. So I just kind of I'm holding on to an end. Let me get you down here a little bit closer to me. Okay, so I'm holding on to one end and I'm just going to wrap 1, 2, and then I like to just roll it. That's how I tie my knot. It's not the perfect knot. There's probably a million other ways you can do it. If you have a way you like better, that's perfectly okay. All right, so now there's 2 ways that you can do the circle. And I've seen it both ways. You can go in and out like a zigzag. So I'm going back and forth basically. Back and forth. Or if you choose, you can take it, and I just kind of hold the material a little, or kind of scoop it up, and you can go and roll it over, and then you can do that all the way around, and just slide it down and keep rolling it over. It's completely up to you. For this class, I am going to go in and out. We're going to do a zigzag. It does not matter. It does not change the effect of the only thing I'll say, so the reason that you roll it over like that is because this is nylon and stretchy, and you can run the risk of, if you get too close to the edge, causing runs. That's why for me, I go about 1/4 of an inch down, so you can see I just make sure I'm down far enough that I'm not going to cause any runs, and I just try to stay about that far all the way around. And I'm just going to zigzag, trying to make sure you guys can see real clear. Wanda says, so nice to see you with this new craft. Thank you so much. I am absolutely loving it. I have some really cute, fun new characters that are going to be showing up really soon, that are simple to achieve. And I'm really excited. I made one the other day, and he ended up turning out, he kind of reminds me of a Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs character. It's so funny. Totally unintentional. So I'm going back and forth, and you notice it's just all bunching up right here, and that's perfectly fine. If this bothers you, you can scoot it down, and then eventually we'll go ahead and slide it off. And I just let it keep going for a while before I end up sliding it off. Your goal is obviously to go all the way back around. So I'm just going back and forth. And you can see I'm not putting a lot of space between it. It's probably about 1/4 of an inch, right? And so that's kind of what I'm doing. Let's see. Chris says, hi again. What if we're using the trouser sock? So if you're using the trouser sock, you would do the exact same method. Oops, I just slipped it off. I might need a little bit more specific of what your question is. I'm not sure that I understand. The trouser sock would be, you would cut it, and then let me show you real quick, y'all. This is really important. So like there's a trouser sock that I cut the end off of. So I would measure, I'm getting a little bump on my internet. The internet's been kind of wonky lately, so this is another reason why I am going to offer have the pre-recorded class as well, just to be on the safe side, because I don't want you guys to not be able to see all of this. So I would just measure 6 inches, cut it across, and then cut it down the one side. That's how I would use the trouser sock. And then again, the same way, you can see this one is done with the zigzag way as well, and it finishes just fine. The thing is, nobody is going to see this at the end, so it's not going to matter. Okay, I'm pulling this right now. I want to make sure that my string does not get tangled up, and I make sure I get my tail out of there. This is the tail. And then I'm just going to keep going. And it's easiest if when I come in this way, I go ahead and pull that. Otherwise, I feel like I'm struggling a little bit more if it's on the outside. You're welcome, Miss Chris. Like I said, see, I'm just like pulling it over, back and forth, back and forth. It does not have to be perfect. I will say, make sure your nails are not hung up like mine. And you want to also, if you're struggling with your finger, sometimes my skin is really dry, and I'll notice I'm kind of getting hung up a little bit on the material, so I have to go put on a little bit of lotion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slide that through. I made it all the way to the beginning, so I'm just pulling my thread through. Careful not to get hung up on the rest of the little bag we created. And I'm just going to kind of open it up, let it sit like a little bag, kind of roll this around a little bit, just like a little pouch, okay? And then I'm going to grab some Polyfil, and down underneath me I have a big bag of Polyfil pillow stuffing. It's just it's 2-pack of pillows I got from Sam's Club. And I'm just going to grab some of that. I'm also going to grab a piece for the nose. So depending on how big you want your nose, this is how big this piece of material is going to be. I'm also going to grab water because I have really, really dry hands right now. You would think they would be sweating, but they're not. But this helps me. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my little bit of water. And this is completely optional, guys. This is just something that I figured out that works for me. So I'm going to try rolling this ball up. Okay, and I run into the issue because my hands are so dry. So I'm going to take a little bit of water, and then I'm just going to put it in my hands. And I don't want it to be like wet. You can see there's no shine or anything. I just want to I want it to kind of be tacky, if that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and grab that material, and I'm going to press, like I'm pushing my hands together and rolling them around, and I'm just keeping that right in the middle of my palm just to create that ball. And I can push pretty hard and get a pretty tight ball. And it's not a perfect ball, so one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this kind of wonky piece right here and this one right here, just to give me a little bit more of a good ball shape. And I like that much better, so we're going to go ahead and run with that. So I'm going to take this ball. Let me get this out of the way. I don't need it anymore. All right, so I'm going to take this ball. I'm going to open up my bag. I need it to open a little bit more. Okay. And then I'm just going to stick my ball in there. And I'm going to hope that it stays fairly in the middle, but most of the time it moves, and we'll work with that. So now I'm going to take my Polyfil, and I'm just going to try and kind of wad it up. So you can see I'm tucking in the lumpy parts and just trying to create kind of a smoothness as much as possible on one side. That's why I recommend a little bit better quality pillows if you're going to use the pillow, because it has that better quality Polyfil. And this is 100% Polyfil in this pillow that I got. Now I'm going to take, and I'm pressing down, and I'm pulling up my sides around me. And you can see I'm using my thumb to kind of help me. And now I'm going to switch hands and just kind of gather and tuck, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this side and wrap it and tuck it in. And if I need to add more, I can, but first we're going to go ahead and check it. So I'm kind of holding that in, not super, super hard or anything, but just kind of keeping it in there. and I'm going to pull this tight. Okay. So I've got it pretty tight. One of the things that I want to do right now is kind of take my hand and spread it around a little bit to kind of give me more of a circular shape. In the end, my goal is to kind of make it look like an egg, and it'll make sense in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over and look at it, and you can see my ball is off to the side, which is perfectly fine. We're going to move it here in just a minute. Really and truly what I'm looking at right now is I want to check the shape. And you can see that even with just that 6 by 6 square, we have made a decent size head. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. So the way that there's two ways you can do this. One, you can pull and hold this. I am left-handed, so this is not going to work for me. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to pinch. So I got one finger on the inside and one finger on the outside, and that's going to not let this loosen up and slide, so that I can reach over, grab my thread, and then I'm going to tie it off. Now, the way that I do it is I go into the material, okay, and then until I'm ready, I'm not going to knot it. So the way to do that is I just pull it, and I have to be careful. This is actually a newer thread that I'm using, and I'm not super loving it. I like the upholstery thread so much, and this is more of a heavy duty thread, and I've noticed that it gets a little tangled up a little easier. So now, because I haven't tied a knot, I can actually pull that if I need to, because sometimes this will loosen up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it and tighten it back up, and then once I've got it tight like I want, I'm going to do it again. This time though, I'm going to go ahead and tie my knot. Let me make sure I get my tail out of there first. So there's my tail. I don't want to tie that up, but I'm just going to slip my needle through my loop, and that will create the knot. And I want to do this 2 to 3 times to create stability. So this is my second one, and I'm going to do one more. This is my third one. Okay, so now I'm tied off. Well, let's turn around and look at the head. So I have a pretty decent egg shape, and you can actually stick your fingers in and kind of just be careful and mindful of that hole, because you can pop those stitches if you pull real hard. Okay, so now I'm going to take my needle, and I need to move this nose down. I want it lower on the head. So I'm just going to gently, don't do this real hard or you'll cause a run. Hello, Karen. Karen's watching from work. I'm going to scoot this down, and then you can kind of roll it however you need to, but I want it to be on the lower side of this head. This is for this particular face, and I feel like when you keep the features lower down, it creates more of that whimsical look that we love. Okay, so now there is our nose to start. So the next thing I want to do, and you notice I haven't cut this off. I'm going to go ahead and keep this because I gave myself enough thread. So now I'm going to grab a couple of pins so that I can start my nose. And I'll show you. Hold on. Let me grab these two as well. So I need four needles. I forgot to tell you guys this. You can also use a marking tool, okay? So just anything to mark with. And the idea is you want to figure out where you want to put your stitches for your nose. Now, depending on the size of your ball inside, your nose is going to be big or small. So I'm going to put one on either side of the top and one on either side of the bottom. And I like my bottom ones to be closer in than my top ones. So I'm going to put my two little my pins here. So one here and one here, and I'm on the top of that ball. I'm just trying to make sure that they're more even. I like a big nose. Oh, this one's up just a little bit. Okay, so there's that, and I'll probably move it again. Yep, I'm gonna move it again. There we go. So there's that. This is one of those things that I like to really mess with. And then I'm going to go in the bottom of the nose as well, and I like to be a little bit closer in. And another way to do this is to put your finger in the middle of the nose so that you can make sure you're even. You can even do the same thing on the top if you'd like. When you're getting started, this really helps. And you'll see me do it again later with the eyes. It's a great technique. And then I'm just going to slip those on there, and that's where I want to put my pieces. So you can see, you can test it before you do it. You can see by squeezing that that's how it's going to be. Okay, so now we are ready. And I'm going to go ahead. I am left-handed, so I am going to jump over here. I'm going to go ahead and put my thread on this side to start. You do not have to do this. If you're on the right side already and you want to be on the right side, then you do not have to do this. But I need to be on the left-hand side. So I'm going to tie a little knot just to move myself over, slipping through that loop, so that I can start on the side that I want to be. And I'm going to do that 2 times. So this is my second knot. Okay, now I'm on the side that I want to be on. So I'm going to go ahead and go right here in the back. I'm going to stay close to that other knot. And I'm going to try to come through as close as I can on that pin. Now here's a trick. So I'm coming through the front, and then I need to get down here to this one. And one of the things that I like to tell my people who are just starting out is try to keep that thread from getting... I like to use the little safety pin, or if I put a dot, I like to use that as my guide. So same thing if I was to put my dot here, right there, okay? I would use that as my guide, and I would go on the bottom. Let me get you a little bit more zoomed in. This is important. Can I get a little closer? Is that good, you guys? So I like to put it on the bottom of that blue mark so that it gives me a little bit of space, a couple millimeters. But if you have a little push pin or whatever, then I use that as my guide, and I just go down underneath there, and then I'm scooping. And I want to angle it to go into that bottom pin. So I scooped up some of that extra material to help really create that nose. And my goal is to get it as close as I can to that pin. Okay, and then again, you can use that as a guide just to know how much width, how much distance you want to have between the spaces. And I'm going up and down. So I'm going in back up to that same spot I started with, right there. And I tried to come in the same hole as I did the first time. And you notice I'm not pulling yet, because if you pull it too soon, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. Oh, by the way, my husband thought it was a good idea to incubate eggs in my craft room, and they're hatching today. So we have 2 out of 4 so far. So you may hear some little peeping, and I apologize if you do. And now I'm gonna go in again, and you wanna do this about 3 times. So this is my second time going in, and I'm going back to that same place. Okay, so this is the second time going up. I like to get pretty close. Okay, now I'm going to pull. And if it stays, you know you've kind of locked that in, and you don't have to worry about keeping on doing it for a while. But if it doesn't stay, you want to add another stitch or 2 until it locks itself. Okay, so now I want to go over here to this side. So I'm going to go down one more time, because I want to start at the bottom and to move over to the top. So now I just went back down to that one. I'm going to go this way. So I'm going to take my needle and stick it in. Remember, I want to stay underneath this nose. I'm not trying to go straight through. And I'm aiming for that pin. Okay. So now I'm over here. Again, I want to use my little pin to help me out. So I'm going to use that space, scoop, and then aim for that bottom piece right there, that bottom pin. Sure wish I could remember my words whenever I'm trying to do this. And I'm just gonna make sure I'm scooping and go back in that spot. Okay, that's 2. Let me go ahead and take this out. Do one more. You can see how it helps to scoop that material. Okay, now I'm going to pull. And I've started to create my nose. And it's not quite locked in, so I'm going to give it another one. Okay. Okay. All right, so now I need to figure out where I want to put my eyes and my mouth. So the way that I do this is I just like pinch my material. So I'm going to go for right here, and then my mouth, and you can play with this. You can see that if you pinch it up here too high, you can kind of see how it's going to look. So I'm going to pinch down a little bit more, and you can play with the, man, I have a hang. You can play with the width a little bit too. So you can see if you like that bigger smile or a smaller smile. It's completely up to you. But I definitely recommend getting a little bit further down on here. Okay, so now, oh wait, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I haven't told you how to do another part of this. We want to make the shape of the nose on the sides, the little flare. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and add 2 pins, one on either side. And you do not have to do this. That's not a good one. You do not have to do this. This is optional. I like to do this just to add to the features. And I use this as a guide for me. So I don't have to like hold on to it. I don't have to worry about it slipping. This is really helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm pulling pretty tight, and I'm going to wrap my thread around. I just went right underneath that pin, okay? And I'm going to go back into that nostril, and you only want to do this wrap one time. So now I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to pull it pretty tight, okay? And now, you don't have to hold it, but you're going to go back and forth 3 times to lock it in. So that's 1. 2. This is 2. Sorry, you guys. Whoop. This is 2. And then this will be 3, and I'm going to end at the bottom and switch over. So this is number 3. And like I said, I'm just going back and forth in that same hole, not trying to make a bunch of different spots to come out. I want to go in the same spot, and it will get kind of tight, and that's okay. Okay, now I need to go onto this side, so I'm going to go through the bottom nostril. Oops, I don't want to get my thread. And then I want to come out that top corner right there. Trying to make sure I'm not coming out too far up. Here we go. Come out that top corner, and then again, I'm going to pull my thread around, okay, and go in that nostril up to the top and go back and forth 3 times. How we doing, guys? Everybody doing okay so far? There's 1, 2. Three is really pretty much the magic number. You can sometimes get away with 2, but I think it's safe. It's safer, and you're gonna be more guaranteed to be successful. Oh, I'm going below the camera. Ooh, thank you. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit. Sorry, you guys. I appreciate the feedback. There we go. All right, hold on just a second. I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I'm going to mark so I know where it's going to be out of the camera. Okay, now I know not to go past that line. All right, so let me do this one more time. Parker is taking notes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take these pins out. And now we have the beginnings of our cute little gnome, cute little nose. And I'm just taking my needle and kind of fluffing up this space between the little wad that I made, so it will be a little bit more filled in. Okay, so now we want to do what we were talking about, and we want to make sure we know where we want to put our features, and this is exactly where I'm going to be going. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my marking tool this time so you can see, and I'm just going to put a little dot here and a little dot here. Okay, and I'm up a little bit on that one. Cool thing is the pen that I have is water soluble, so I don't have to worry if I get it. And then here, okay, so now I gotta use the pens. I really want you guys to be able to see really good. I'm using my finger, and I'm right up against the nose, and I put one pen on one side, and then I'm gonna put the other pen on the other side, okay? Do the same thing for this one, using my finger, and I'm gonna try and make sure that they're lined up across both ways. You guys hear my little chicks peeping? It's pretty loud. Okay, this one needs to come up just a hair. Okay, so there is where I'm going, right there. All right, so now what I want to do, check your thread. If you don't have enough thread, what you can do is you can take your material, your thread. You can take your thread, and no matter where you are, if you're running low, you can always go to the back and tie your thread off at the back, and then start with a new piece, knotting it and starting like you started from the beginning. Oh, Tammy said she heard them once, but not now. Yeah, they get a little loud and then they get quiet. Okay, so now what I want to do is, I need to first go over here. So I'm going to take my needle and go into this space right here. And I want to scoop down. Actually, I think I do need to tie it off. Hold on. Let me go ahead and do that. I think we should start fresh. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop into the back. Let's tie it off. And you do not have to do this if you don't want to. I am tying it off because I want to start fresh on this side. And if you need to change your thread, this is how you do it. Make sure you always tie a little loop. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to go into that first spot right there. Whoops, come on now, let me move down a little bit. So I just am right here on the side. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to go down underneath it, scooping. Make sure you scoop. That's really important. Helps you get those cute cheeks. And then I'm aiming for that that little dot that I made on the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to use that as my guide and go right above where my mark is. A couple millimeters, a millimeter, I don't know. I'm not the best with millimeter measurements, and you can see I'm scooping. That's why that little needle's popping out. And I'm going to go back up into that same spot. And you want to do this 3 times. So that was 2. Here comes number 3. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to pull, and it should start to lock. I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time, just because it is not quite locking as tight as I'd like. So for me, I did a total of 4 on this one. Thank you, Victoria. Rose says, watching while traveling back to Florida, almost home, so I can do this later today. I hope. That is so exciting. Okay, now I'm at the top, and I'm going to move over here to this pin and scoop, and I'm going to go down into that hole, same spot I'd already made. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Let me see if I can put a little dot here so you guys can still see. Okay. We're going to do this 3 times, just back and forth, not more eyelids. You only want to make the eye line 1 time. Okay, so 2. And then this will be number 3. Go down into the hole. Oh, I will say a slight disclaimer, you guys, just so you know that we probably should tell this. You probably will hurt yourself. You will definitely be poking yourself. You may make yourself bleed occasionally, but it's all worth it in the end. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the corner of this mouth, and I'm going to go up here to this pin right here. I want to get it pretty close. Okay. Alrighty, I'm running low on my thread a little bit, but that's okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and go right here on the other side of that pin and scoop. Ooh, I almost pulled my thread out. I'm good at that. So I'm scooping, and I'm aiming for, I forgot which one was the better one. I think it's the bottom. Well, he might have a wonky smile just a little bit, just so you know, because I can't remember which dot was the better dot. That's what I get, right? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take this pin out, and I'm going to go back and forth, so giving myself enough space. Scoop into that eye spot. So that was 2. I probably will do 4 on this one as well, just to keep it balanced. Yeah, it definitely needs 4. Highly recommend upholstery thread, you guys. Best thread, in my opinion. It's like kind of got a waxiness to it, so it really helps things get locked in. All right, so now I'm going to go over here to this side, and I'm going to go in and go back into that hole. Well, where are you? So, did you guys know that needle sculpting first or not needle sculpting, soft sculpture. First, like I guess the earliest known about it was around the 70s, and it started in Germany. I'm going to go up again into that little spot right there. And the soft sculpture is actually very broad. There you can do foam, like puppeting, that's soft sculpture. Even cardboard is considered soft sculpture, things you make from that. I think it's just anything that's not like a hard clay. Oh, I just poked myself. Okay, one more time for me to go back up here and down. Okay, and then I'm going to go down one more time and make the smile. All right, now, let's see. Skay is asking, where is the list of supplies for the face, please? Skay, the list is in the Files tab. You can, not the Files tab, the Guides tab at the top of the group. And you can go down and you can watch a video, and you can also see the actual list. And if you scroll to the bottom of the list, you'll see links to the things that that you can buy, or you can buy them locally, however you choose to do it. Okay, so if you notice, so right here on the mouth, I'm taking my needle and I'm just kind of getting up underneath some of that stuffing, and I'm just kind of pulling it forward. So I'm scooping kind of like I did when we were building the cheeks, but I'm just bringing it forward to kind of create that mouth, that lip shape. Now I'm going to take my needle, and we're just like we did one time on the sides of the nose and one time on the eyes, we're going to do one string across the smile. So I'm going to go from one side to the other, and I'm just going to go right in here, but I'm actually going to angle back because I want to come out the back and tie it off. So I'm going to go ahead and come out the back, and I'm going to pull, and you can see that it really makes a sweet face. Just remember that it depends on where you put your dots as to how big your smile is going to be. And the same with your eyes. It's going to depend. Like if you do a closer one, then your eyes are going to be much smaller. Same with the nose. If you want to start closer in, your nose will be smaller. I would suggest just playing with it. My mom did the Cabbage Patch dolls as well. Yes, okay, I was actually going to mention something about that. I don't know if you noticed, these kind of have that Cabbage Patch-esque-ness to them. Like Xavier Roberts back in the 80s. He's actually not the original Cabbage Patch guy. It was somebody else. There's an interesting story behind all that you should definitely check out sometime if you have the time. And I lost my string. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my smaller thread, my needle, because I can tie off better with the shorter one. Hopefully I can thread it through the eye. There we go. But yeah, so Cabbage Patch dolls are a great example of soft sculpture or needle sculpting. So again, just make sure you keep that pulled tight, and then to tie it, remember, we're not going to make a knot first. We're going to go ahead and just loop it so we can pull it tight and kind of anchor it, if you will. And now I'm going to go ahead and make my knot. Some happy little chicks. Oops, well, I said that. Let me go ahead and find I'll do it one more time. Instead of trying to find it, I'm just going to go ahead and tie it one more time. I'm trying to hold my loop so I can pull my tail through. My thread is so short at this point. Okay, there we go. So there is our face. Very, very easy, or simple, not a whole lot to it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off my string. Set that aside. Now let's blush our little face. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some makeup. And I've picked up some of this from a couple different places. I also, where is my My daughter gave me some eye makeup that works great. I would recommend some neutral colors like earth tones. I say neutral. And then like this is a great, I love the loose powder. It's fun. It is quite messy. I will say that. So I'm probably going to not do that one today. Oops. And then this is blush. And I think I saw this actually at the Dollar General the other day. This particular color. Too bad the store I bought fabric from is no longer around. Oh, for the Cabbage Patch. I know. There's nobody selling it anymore. It's very, very crazy. Very frustrating. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some brushes. Okay. These are some great little brushes. I love, these are my favorites. I love these. These are very cheap, very like affordable. I feel like I have one. There we go. That's good. But these are great brushes. I love them, and I'm going to show you how I use them. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little bit fluffier brush and some of this pink, and I'm going to go ahead and blush the cheeks. Whoops, you can't see that. Let's zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more of my area. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so I am one of these people, I like to see what somebody is dipping into when they go to do something because I want to know, I want to understand. So I'm going to use this little bit fluffier brush. This is called a crease brush apparently, but I just like it because it's a little bit fluffier, and I like to test it on my hand first so I know how much it's going to drop onto my material. So that's a good way to tell. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on one cheek, and I'm very gently, you see I'm barely even, like I'm just above it. I'm going to very gently just deposit some of that blush, and then I just do it in circular motion, and it'll kind of spread it out. Okay, and then I'm going to get some more, and I like to just check so I have an idea of what's going on my brush, and I have to turn mine upside down. And then just kind of round it. And you can add as much blush or as little blush as you would like. Oh, that's another thing. So the basic kit will come with these. The little deluxe kit is going to have a dotting tool, so you can add the little white dots if you'd like that to your little gnomes. I love adding those little white dots. You can see I'm just taking my time, kind of. You want to add a little bit more than you think you should, so you want to be a little bit on the heavier side than light, because some of this is going to kind of blush away or brush away, I guess. Okay. All right. Now, let me get a little bit right here. Okay. So let's say I make a mistake. Let me see if I can get enough on here. I'll probably have to show it with something else. But let's say that I make a mistake. You can take your little brush tool, and you can very gently, you don't want to do this really hard, but you can just kind of brush it back and forth, and it'll kind of spread out that material, that makeup a little bit, so that it'll kind of push it back a little bit. If you deposit too much, it'll kind of scrub it. This works really well for spreading it around as well. It just kind of helps blend it out. I mean, it is a blending tool. And you can see it's kind of pushing it in, so it's not quite as bold. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, let me add a little bit more pink to the nose. Okay, and then you can take this. Okay, and then now I also want to add a little bit, this is going to seem kind of weird to some of you maybe, but think about contouring. I like to add a little bit of pink right here on this side as well. It'll help shape the face. It won't look so flat on the top once we get our little eyes and our, when you do hair or hat, it really helps round that face. And I deposited a little bit too much, so I'm just going to take this little blending tool and just kind of push it back a little bit. Okay, so that looks really good, I think. I'm going to take this, get a little bit of that red. Now you have to pay really close attention. This is a liner brush, or a brow brush, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it up, and right in the crack, I'm going to go right into that corner and then pull. I'm going to do the same thing going the other direction. I'm going to go right in that corner. Sorry, I'm trying to see myself on camera, make sure I'm showing up good, and pull. And I'm just kind of creating that pink mouth line. You always want to start in the corner. If you just try to start in the middle, you're going to deposit way too much makeup right in the center, and then you're left struggling with kind of, trust me, I know from experience. But so it's just easier if you do it that way. I am missing a brush. Man, where is it? Oh well, I'll use this one. I have one more brush, I believe. I feel like I do. But I'm going to go ahead and take this little bit of brown. This brown, this orange, this black, and this brown are colors that I really, really like. I would say I use this one, and probably this one the most. I will use this one occasionally. But these are the colors that I love to use the most. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't want to dump a whole bunch in there, so I am kind of depositing it on my hand first, but I'm going to kind of get down in here in these crevices, and again, this is to create the shape. You're not going for, oh my gosh, I don't like the way, you know, the look of whatever that is. It's actually about creating dimension, so this is important. It'll make sense in the end, I promise. And again, I'm just depositing it before I actually put it on the face. Let's see what's going on. Can't see, can see now, okay. And then what do you use for the white dots? I use white craft paint and a dotting tool. And then Robin said, what and how do you do the little white dots? Seen but never done. They are real cute. I put them right here on the cheeks. I don't know if I have the paint nearby. Oh, I do. I don't know if I have my little dotting tool. I do. I have it. I have it. Okay, we'll do the little dots. All right, let's do the little dots real quick. Let me get the makeup. We're done with the makeup, so we can go ahead and put that away. All right, so this is a dotting tool, and it has, you can see on one end it has a bigger dot, and then on the other end it has a tiny dot. I prefer the bigger dot on this size doll, or gnome, or whatever. I just feel like it works better. And this is some folk art, matte. It's matte paint. This is white. This is actually, the exact color is wicker white. And I'm just going to use it out of the cap is how I like to do it. And then the way that I like to do this is, oh, this is also not just a dotting tool, it's also a nail tool. So you may know it by a nail tool. But I call it a dotting tool because of when you're doing the rock painting, mandala rocks, this is where I learned it from. So, okay. So the way that I like to do, I would say odd numbers. I recommend odd numbers because they taught in art that when you do odd numbers, for whatever reason, and without us even knowing it as people, it is appealing to us. So it's pleasing to the eye. So I'm just going to do 1. Pick up, load my brush a little bit more. 2, 3. Okay. And then if I want more, I can add 2 more if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and let those set for a moment. I'm going to turn it upside down because I have to. It's just a habit. I'm going to do another one here. 1, And you can see I'm using my finger to brace myself. 2, 3, okay? So that is how I do them. And then I need to let those dry for a minute. So why don't we go ahead and move on to our eyes. Let's talk really quick about eyelashes. Pamela says, painting, I've used the end of a paintbrush. Yes, you can use the end of a paintbrush. You can use the end of a pen, or you could even use like one of your little push pins, whatever you call these. You really just, I just like this because it's convenient and I know that the size is going to work. I know what the result it's going to give me. But absolutely, use what you got, for sure. Even a toothpick sometimes can work really well, or a skewer. I've used those. Okay, let me set this. Actually, let's talk about the eyelashes for a minute. They're right here. Okay, I get my eyelashes from all kinds of places. I've gotten them from the Dollar Tree. I get them from Walmart. I mean, you can really run with it, and you just have to decide. So different eyelashes are going to give you a different result, obviously, on your different gnomes. So I'm going to show you an example. These are a great example. So these eyelashes are very, very faint, very, very light, very dainty, delicate, right? And they are just cute as can be. There's nothing wrong with them. I love them. I think they're adorable. And then you have another eyelash. You have it depends on the look that you're going for whatever creation or character that you're trying to create. So for these, you can see they're so much more elaborate and bold, but I think that it fits the lamb. And then for like Ernest, let me grab Ernest. So for Ernest eyes, these are these lashes right here, and they work really well. It just really, really depends on your own personal taste. Did you get that tool at the Dollar Tree? Yes, I did. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me get these out of the way. Okay, so now you want to take your eyelashes and you want to test them out. These are kind of cool looking. These are really something. Let me put these, I'm going to go with one of these 3. So we're going to play with them. And one of the things that you'll have to know is when you start sticking them on here, because they've been blushed, you could do it before they get blushed so that you don't pick up the makeup on the back of them, but just know that they're not going to be as sticky, which is not going to matter when we glue them, just when you're trying to stick them back on if you decide you don't want to use them. So there's these, and these. Okay, so the way that I like to do it, I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. And then obviously this one is too long of a lash for this particular one, but I still need to figure out how much I'm going to need. So I just kind of set it on there, and I know that length is going to be about good for me. Grab some scissors, and I'm just going to snip in between the gaps on this particular pair. This is a nice pair because it allows me to do that easily. Some don't have as big a gaps between them. And the key with this is you need to pay attention to the direction that your eyelashes are going, because if you want them to go up, then you're going to have to present them in an upward way. So this, for example, these are curling up this way. If I was to take it and turn it around the other way, they would curl downward. Okay? So you just have to kind of decide which direction and what effect you're going for. So that's those lashes. And then let's test these really quick. Uh-oh, I've got low battery on my computer, which is important. So I'm going to go ahead and snip this one. That one's one of those ones that's a little bit more difficult. And you can see, let's go ahead and put these together. You can kind of see the difference. These are not quite a big bold difference in each other, but this one I feel like is just a little bit more oomph with it. And then let's look at this last one right here real quick. This is going to be your daintiest, and this is, if I was going to be doing these, you can see it changes the character depending on those lashes. So if you're not going to put eyes on, play with your lashes. And then in order to glue them, I'm trying to pick up this marker line. In order to glue them, you're gonna take your glue. I like to use Eileen's. I just saw it. Where did I put it? Give me just a second, it was right here. I just hid it from myself. Actually, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna plug in my laptop so that it doesn't die. I'm almost done already. Okay, it is plugged in. Now, where did my Eileen's go? It was right there. Oh, I hid it behind my lashes. Okay, so I like to use Eileen's, and I'm using the Turbo because it dries a little faster. The way that I use this directly on the lashes is I grab myself a toothpick, and you can either put it directly on your lash, or you can put it on your toothpick or however you want to do this. You guys that do eyelashes, you may have a better way, but this is the way that works for me. So I just kind of spread it on here. And then once I get it on there, then I stick it right down in the crevice of the eye. I'm not gonna put them on because I'm going to do eyes with you guys. If you want to not do them, that's how you would do them. Do you have the patterns for outfits that were on the other two you showed? So Ernest, the one with the glasses, we did him in the Makers Club, and I teach every part of that so you can build the clothes, the shoes, and everything for your character. And that's all in the Makers Club. And his class is not available individually. I don't know if I'm going to make that one available or not, but there is another one that will be available. I'm going to grab my eyes real quick. I printed them off. Okay, let me go ahead and set this aside, which isn't the face just so cute already? I love it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And if you're making several of these, you can do more than one set of eyes at a time. And for this one, I think that I'm just gonna do, I love the green, and I haven't done green yet. I keep doing blue because I got blue eyes, and I don't know, I just keep doing blue eyes for some reason. It's like a natural choice without even thinking about it. Okay, so we have our eyes, and this eye template is in the Files tab. So if you go up to the top of the group and you click on Files, you will see the eye template in there, and you can just print it out. I print it out on cardstock or photo paper, and I go back and forth between the two, so I don't have a recommendation on which one is better because I think they both turn out well. We're using cardstock today, just because I feel like it's what more people are going to have, and I'm looking for my toothpicks. There we go. Okay. All right, so now this is the UV resin. This is UV nail resin, and you don't have to mix it. It doesn't come in multiple parts. I highly recommend this. This is my favorite. I was using another one, and it was a nightmare, and to go from that to this has been just a dream. It's just insane, the difference. So this you can get on Amazon, and the link to this exact product is in that supplies list at the very bottom of the list. There's a clickable link. Robin is asking, where can we find out about the Makers Club? So the Makers Club is, you can actually sign up on the website. There is actually a link you can click, but make sure you use your coupon. If you're in this class and you're joining the Makers Club, you get 2 months. You get $5 off the first 2 months of membership if you're in this class. So you have to make sure you do that. If you accidentally sign up without it, I can go in and manually add it for you. But just making sure you know. Let me know you were in this class so that I can make sure you get your discount if you don't add it. If you don't add the coupon. Okay. So you can go to www.tenderfootvillage.net, and there's a link at the top that says, or a tab at the top that says the Makers Club. You can click on there and sign up. And then I'll also add a link in the group later on today. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. And like I said, you can do a whole sheet of these at a time. But for time's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and do the one. I'm going to go ahead and do the green, like I said. And I'm going to squeeze a decent sized circle or squirt out onto the material. Can you guys see? Okay, let me see how it looks on the... Let's get you down here a little closer. Come on. Come on. Oh, my finger had something on it. That's why. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze a good size glob. You're not trying to fill in the whole space because we're going to actually move it around. But you do want a good pea size. That's a perfect pea size amount, I would say. And the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm just going to kind of move. I'm not digging down to the bottom of the paper. I'm just kind of spreading it to the edge of the eye. And it's not a big deal if I go over a little bit. I can just clean that up. I'll show you how here in just a second. But I'm just going to go to the edge. And the biggest thing is you want to take your time and kind of go slow. You don't want to go fast and add a bunch of bubbles into it. Because once this dries, if those bubbles are in there, they're staying in there. So the key is to spread it and just take your time a little bit. I recommend if you want to do eyes, you would definitely want to spend like a time doing these. Just like, you know, one afternoon, you're like, I'll do eyes or something like that. So. Okay. I got that one, and it comes with gloves and a couple. Yeah. So it's just because it does come with all that stuff. Some of them do, some of them don't, and it's just fine. Seriously, it's fine. The hazmat suit. No, you're fine. Just as long as you're in a well-ventilated area, you have to think that, like if you go to a nail salon or something like that, well, I guess they're wearing gloves, but yeah, I'm not wearing gloves. But I'm also just kind of spreading it with a toothpick, and it's really not a big deal, you guys. A lot of people are using these for their, like making jewelry. Because there's not the multiple steps of mixing. And you can see I just turn the little card and go right up to the line. And you want to make sure you get it how you want it before you cure it. Because once it's cured, that's it. It's not going anywhere else. Okay, so there are our eyes. And then, like, if I was to make a mess and actually go out of the line, I would just take another toothpick. Let me throw this one away. Grab another toothpick and then just slide it right back up in there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little UV light, my little nail light. This I got on Amazon for like $4. Oh, I broke it. Well, there we go. Okay, So I'm going to take my little nail light, I'm going to slide it up underneath there, and I'm going to turn on the little bit. Oh my word, what is happening to me right now? Sorry, you guys. Holy cow, that's never happened. I'm strong. Okay, let's not push down on that, Sarah. Okay, so now, hold up there, buddy. Really, I promise you I don't have this much problem with this usually. I think it's because I'm on camera, and this is also pulled behind me, so it's trying to pull back on me. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set this on here and turn on the light. And for this, now this is a lower wattage, so you're going to want to do this twice. Sorry, you guys. You're going to want to do this twice. I'm glad you couldn't really see that. I think it was mostly out of the camera view when I was making a mess. Yes, technical difficulties, right? Sweet, Chris just got her resin and her light dropped off. Okay, so like I was saying, so with this light, you're going to want to use it probably 2 times, I recommend, to fully cure. And it will, if you don't, it will have kind of a little bit of almost a tackiness to it, but it does harden all the way over time. So I'm going to push it twice, and I'm going to let it sit, and this really will help me make sure that it's cured. As an alternative, just so you know, they have these UV lights that you can get on Amazon, at Joann's, all kinds of different places. And then for these, I recommend you hold it over and count to about 30. So count about 30 seconds. And this will cure a little bit quicker because it's got the higher wattage. So this is like 40 watts, and I think this one's like 60. So you just have to keep that in mind, and you can totally work with it. Like I said, just 2 times. I usually do a little sheet of them underneath here and just kind of go down. So here we go. All right. Yeah, I put one of those legs on backwards whenever I put it back on. That's funny. Okay. So those are completely cured. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I probably could have done one of these, just had one actually done ahead of time. Cutting down on time a little bit, but we're going to go with it. So I'm just cutting right at the edge, just following around the edge of the eye. Okay, there's a bigger black flashlight style that's not very expensive at all, and it works really quickly. Perfect, Kathy. See, Kathy knows what's going on. She knows what's up. Just trimming these out real quick. I should have some music going from now on, you guys, instead of having it just dead quiet. Well, aside from the chicks chirping. At least they're happy, right? Little happy peeps. Okay, so I've got my eyes cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Throw it over here on the side. Now, I want to go ahead and get my face, and I want to get my lashes wherever I stuck them. Okay, so the next thing I want to do first is I like to put these on to see kind of how they are going to look, and I like the little black part to go upwards. And he's going to be very, very, very cute. Okay. Alternatively, you guys can paint these eyes on. You can paint eyes on. Don't think you can't. That's just not what I'm teaching in this class. But we are going to be painting some eyes. I have painted eyes, and I think that it would be fun to teach how to paint the eyes on. And we'll be trying it out painting directly on the face, but we'll also be painting it on a very specific material that we can put onto the eyes that will go very well. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and decide what eyelashes I'm going to use. And I think we're going to try these and see. These are a little bit on the dainty side. I feel like these are a little too much flare. Let's see. Let's try it out and see. So I'm going to take my eye. There's something right here. I'm going to take my eye. Where to buy? Where to buy? Bigger black. Oh, yeah. Good deal. Yeah, the bigger black flashlight. Walmart used to have the flashlight style, Tammy says. Okay, so now I'm going to take my eyes, and I like to kind of have them set up the way that they're supposed to go so that I don't get mixed up and I end up putting them on the wrong way. So I'm going to pick this one up first. I'm going to work on this side, and I just like to test things out first. So I'm going to flip this around. I want that sticky. There we go. So I want the sticky side forward, not backward for this particular, because I'm actually going to stick it to the back of the eye. Y'all forgive my stomach, it is growling. And I'm just testing these. I don't know if I'm going to use these eyes in particular. They do have a big break that happens of space between the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this off just to see. Okay. And before I do anything permanent, I like to just test them out. And I don't like the way that that is going. So we're going to turn this around and see. Let's see if that will look better. I think my husband is doing the dishes, y'all. Yeah, I don't like this particular eyelash. I feel like for this particular one, that is just a little too much. Now, for the closed eyes, I think it's absolutely fabulous. Isn't it funny how that works? That for certain aspects, it's better than others. I got the Dollar Tree ones that are half size in a pink box. Are they too small? So I think you're talking about the little segmented ones. Is that, let me see. I think you're talking about these right here. And the thing with this is you can absolutely use these. You'll just be piecing them together to create a kind of a more natural, like it naturally looks. You'll just have to work with it and see, but I think that they would work. Let me go ahead and grab this, flip this over. Yep, my husband is doing the dishes, y'all. I need to go live more often. Yeah, I'm gonna like these. I really do. Okay, so these are the ones I'm gonna use. I can already tell. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off the end. I don't like it to curve back around, personally. So I'm just gonna cut off the very end of that. Okay, and then I'm going to use this one as a guide for the other one. If I can grab it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lay that on here. And then I'm just going to kind of match the length. Yee. Oh my goodness, y'all. Let's get this thing right. Come on now. Okay, so right there. There we go. Get that off. I might have to trim that one up just a little bit. Now I'm going to grab my super glue for this one because I don't want these eyelashes to come off of my face, my eyes. So I like this super glue. I like super glue that has a brush wand with it. This is really, really, really important. So what I'm going to do is, let me make sure I have the right one. That eye, this eye. See, I gotta make sure I'm doing the right side. Okay. So the way that I like to do this is I like to actually put the super glue, and you got to kind of be careful. You can use tweezers if you need to, but I like to hold it, and I'm going to brush off most of this. So that's one of the reasons why I love the brush, is I am able to control how much of this I'm applying to my eyelash. And I like to just make sure I got some on there. And then I start at the top. Oops, hold on. It's trying to stick to the back of me too. Oh, let me check that really quick. Make sure I'm going the right direction. Hold up, hold up. Yes, okay. You know what? I'm going to do this a little different because it's being a little more difficult. So I'm going to change up my strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe off a good amount. And then I'm going to start at the top up here and add a little bit. You just have to be mindful that you don't add too much because it takes longer to dry if you do. And then pay attention to the direction of your eyelashes. Start at the back. Curve it around. Little peeps. It's being a little bit more difficult because I'm trying to put the eyelashes on the other direction. Backwards instead of, like, the sticky is trying to stick to me. So I'm fighting with the sticky of the eyelash at the same time as I'm trying to glue this down. And I'm sticking my fingers in the hot glue, in the super glue. So, yay! Okay, one more time. Let's try this again. Make sure I didn't get anything on the front. Goodness, y'all. Okay. Let's try it again. Whew. Hold on. We're gonna get this. I gotta do it this way. This is the best way. I should be using some Aleene's first, get it on there, and then go back behind it. There we go. There we go. So, not the most perfect application by far, but we got it on there. Goodness gracious, y'all. Usually I don't have that much trouble with the eyes, but it's because I was trying to go backwards. Okay, I'm going to set that over here. So they're curling this way instead of the other way. That's the big hang up. Let's see. Can you move the camera closer, please? Oh, yes. Hold on. All right. That's pretty cool how close up I can get. Okay, again, make sure I'm going the right direction. All right, let's make sure I stick it the right side. Okay, nope. Oh my goodness, it's so tiny. This is tiny parts. I am not the micro lady, that's for sure. I would not claim that ever because micro is tiny. It is hard to do. I see these people doing like micro dolls and micro stuffed animals, and all I can think of is, oh my gosh, did you not suffer while you were trying to sew those little pieces? I would not want that suffering. It's suffering to me. It probably isn't to them, but okay, here we go. Let's get this on here easily this time. So you'll probably want to wear some gloves instead of just bare-handed so you don't get it stuck to you. turn it over. I'll take my toothpick. I should have probably just used Eileen's and seen how well that went. But this is what I did with the other faces. It's just being difficult because I'm on camera. Okay, I see a little place that's going to have to get glued down a little bit better. Listen to those sweet little peeps. My goodness. I'm saying this thinking you guys can really hear this, but... Okay. All right. I'm going to let that dry for just a minute. Let me go ahead and set it aside. Does anybody have any questions for me while I'm letting that set up? I'm super happy to help. I cannot wait to see your little faces, y'all. Cannot wait. And don't forget, after the, don't forget that on Thursday, I'm going to be uploading a video for you guys on doing the body for your face. And so we'll have a completed, when you get done with this class, you will actually leave the class with a completed gnome. And then on Friday, I'm doing a giveaway. So make sure you keep an eye out for that as well. You can hear them. Good. I'm glad. They're happy peeps. Kim says, I'm watching this and then go back and try this later, plus looking forward to buying your kits. Yay, yes. Make sure that you use your coupon, guys. Don't forget about that when you do this. The kits will be available starting at the end of this week. And Debbie said, just got home, when can we watch the video? Debbie, you can watch the video as soon as the live class is done. As soon as I hit stop on the record button, it should process, and within moments it should be up and ready to watch. So here are our eyes, our sweet little eyes. And I think I need to put a little bit of nail polish. So one thing that we'll do to finish up, I'm going to go ahead, these eyes, obviously, because of me touching, I got a little bit of buff, like, I just need to put some clear nail polish on here, but I don't know where it's at right at the moment. I think it's in the other room, so. Anyway, but we will do that to finish it up before everything is final on Thursday. And there is that. So sweet, you guys. Such a sweet face. Okay, let's go ahead and get these eyes on. And to put the eyes on, I actually like to use hot glue. So what I'm going to do is I like to position the eyes how I want them. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick it up, add a little dot of hot glue to the back, right there. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm just going to lay it right back down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, I have to turn it upside down to work on, I guess the right side is what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and just pick it up so you can see. A good dot of hot glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and try and make sure I position it about where the other one is. And then there are our adorable little eyes. Sweet little face. Absolutely precious. Just want to kiss him and pinch his cheeks, or her. This is such a great class, you guys. This is such a great project, not class, but such a great project for anyone that's wanting to try out the needle sculpting or the soft sculpt. So if you know anybody who's asking about it, or anybody that's struggling, if you feel like this was a benefit to you, will you please send them my way? I would love to help anybody out that I can. And then Remember, not only will you have the live version of this class, but you'll need to check back this weekend on the website for this class, and you will have a pre-recorded video of a face as well. So there'll be two versions, or two way. It's going to be the same thing. It's just one will be pre-recorded with me kind of voiceover talking, and then the other one will be this one, the live. I hope you enjoyed this class. Do not forget to come back here on Thursday and check for that body so you can have a completed gnome by the end of the class. And don't forget, on Friday, we are doing a giveaway. If you are interested in the Makers Club, please send me a PM and I will get you the link to that. I just want to make sure that you guys get in for your discount. And I thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what you make, and I'll see you soon.